In this lesson, I will give you a true insight into how I conduct the pre-talk or the preliminary conversation. The best way for you to start hypnotizing someone and doing the pre-talk is to begin by asking what do you know about hypnosis? What is the advantage of this question? This question is very powerful for two reasons, different reasons. The first reason is that if the person has fears regarding hypnosis, they will already tell you right away what those fears are. If she has myths that she saw in some cartoon of Woody Woodpecker or in some movie, she will tell you at this moment without you having to interfere in the process. But it's not just if she has already been formally hypnotized, she will also be able to tell you at this moment, I have even been hypnotized before. So the first thing I ask is what you know about hypnosis, or have you ever been hypnotized? These are questions that will allow the other person to open up to you regarding the phenomenon of hypnosis. Having done that, I have a big challenge, which is the following: to put an end to the myth of the battle of minds. This myth of the battle of minds is undoubtedly the worst among all. The myths of hypnosis. You will even notice that I usually talk about the myths of hypnosis at the end of pre-talk. However, this myth of the battle of minds, it is so important, it is so persistent, and it disrupts so much that it is usually one of the first things I will talk about before hypnotizing someone. So, in general, I will ask the following. Do you know what hypnosis is? What is hypnosis to you? The person will respond. If she doesn't mention any specific myth, I will already say the following. Hypnosis does not. It's my mind against yours. This phrase aims to dispel the myth of the battle of minds. And there I present the model of understanding of hypnosis based on concentration on an idea. Hypnosis is focusing in an idea and thus alter their perception. And to facilitate the understanding of this concept, I usually give 3 examples that we all experience in our daily lives. The first is that of hunger. Imagine that day when you are coming back from work, getting home, and your wife or your husband calls you saying the following: your favorite pizza has just arrived. If you were with a little bit of hunger, this hunger can increase a lot because the suggestion, in this case, the pizza, will alter it. Your physiology. In fact, many times we have the desire to eat something, and that desire goes increasing in our conversation, and then you will order there on iFood, on Uber Eats, anyway, on some app, that specific food, and you can't find it, and you feel extremely bothered because you is hungry for that specific food. This has to do with expectation. So this phenomenon, imagining a food that you like and feeling physiologically hungrier, is a sensation that everyone has. So the person will identify themselves at that moment. Another example you can give, besides hunger, I usually give the 3, you know? You know that day when your husband or wife asks your favorite pizza and you weren't even hungry and you start to feel hungry at that moment? That's it. It's an idea that altered your physiology. Another example is when you are looking for your phone and it was right there the whole time in your hand and you didn't even notice. You were so focused on other ideas, you were so hypnotized by other issues that you didn't even see the phone in your hand. You must have also, having gone through that experience of driving with friends or someone else driving the car, for you to go to a barbecue, for example, and then at some point you realize that the car was heading in the direction of the person's workplace who was driving. In other words, the person unintentionally, automatically he drove the car towards work instead of taking it to the countryside. That the barbecue would happen. In this example, once again, the person was hypnotized by the conversation. So, notice that the first thing I ask is, what do you know about hypnosis? And if the person, she didn't mention any specific myth, so I will move on to the myth of the battle of minds. If she had mentioned it, I will clarify some myths here. Then, I talk about the myth of the battle of minds. I talk about it in a very quick way. Hypnosis is not my mind against yours. Hypnosis is focusing on an idea, and from there, change your perception and your physiology. You have certainly been hypnotized several times and didn't notice. I give the 3 examples. For instance, when someone comes to you and says, your favorite pizza has just arrived, come home soon. Maybe you wasn't really hungry, but starts to feel hungry due to this hypnotic suggestion that is the presence of pizza. Or maybe you have already gone through that situation of looking for a cell phone that is in your hand. You are so hypnotized by the tasks or by a conversation that you don't even realize that the cell phone was in your hand or in your pocket the whole time. Another example is when you are in the car. Do you drive the person? The person says, "Oh, I drive." Well, you must have gone through that experience of you driving the car with friends, going to a barbecue. However, you notice that unintentionally, you were driving and taking the car in the direction of your work. You were so hypnotized by the conversation that he didn't even notice it. There, I've already given examples that show the person that we are hypnotized all the time. That said, I will dispel the other myths of hypnosis that are very common. In hypnosis, there is no risk of you not returning, because hypnosis is about concentrating on an idea. The moment you stop concentrating on an idea, you simply cease to be hypnotized. No one gets stuck in hypnosis. No one, when watching a horror movie, for example, you are hypnotized by that idea. Then the phone rings. She might even get scared due to the suggestion and to the context. But she is not just going to think that she is living in terror. No. She goes and answers the phone. That hypnosis was interrupted because the concentration process was interrupted, and then I will talk of losing control as well. In fact, you do not lose control. You are just concentrating in an idea. You will not do anything that you do not want to do. In fact, you will not tell me no secret. You will only tell me a secret that you would tell me right now without hypnosis. Ready? Said. Regarding these myths, the last question comes up, and is there any other doubt? Any further clarification? What did you want to do about hypnosis? All right, this is the Pretalk model that I use, and if I am going to use it, in the context of the clinic, it will basically be the same. I can change it and make it a little more sophisticated if I am attending to a professional in the health field anyway, but in general, the pre-talk is this. Some people may think the following, Alberto, but when you talk about these myths, you can't be putting a worm in the person's head, can you? Sometimes the person didn't even have that fear. It starts to have. So is there this risk? Yes. But there is another risk that I consider worse. It has already happened. For example, I just asked the person, what is hypnosis? What do you know about hypnosis? And I clarify the myths based on what she said. Then in the end I ask, do you have any more questions? The person says they have no doubt at all, they can start the hypnosis. Then I say, and you know that's not true. Is there a risk of you getting stuck? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought I was going to get stuck. The problem is that if the person believes in any of these myths and thinks that they will definitely happen, they will not. There will be a doubt here at the beginning, because if it were her doubt, she wouldn't believe in the myth. So, in the moment when I clarify these three myths of being stuck, losing control, and revealing secrets, I am protecting myself from the person believing in these myths and not having told me anything. And another, if there is a myth that can prevent a person from being hypnotized, without a doubt, it is the battle of minds. So, if you notice that the person is a bit hesitant about being hypnotized, you can be sure that the idea of a battle of minds is present in the environment. In fact, sometimes the idea of the battle of minds is somewhat disguised. The person says, do you believe that they have already tried? Hypnotize me several times? One that I have already heard was the following. Did you know that even that hypnotist, did X try to hypnotize me and fail? In other words, the person gives a certain advantage to the fact that she, not having been able to enter hypnosis previously. This is a clear sign of a battle of minds. So, be careful with the battle of minds. And finally, I wanted you to understand that this here, it's a conversation. In other words, it's not for you to memorize the script. No, this is a conversation. You are having a conversation with the person and clarifying what hypnosis is. So if you want to make it So if you think you should make any changes, go ahead, because you will do your pre-talk. And then already, did you know about this structure of pre-talk? Do you have any questions? Leave them in the comments and see you next time.